It's Friday, February 8th, 2013, and let's talk about what happened this week over at XDAdevelopers.com. First up, a little bit of device update news. The HTC Thunderbolt was released back in 2011. It was one of the earliest 4G phones to hit Verizon. And HTC being HTC, they promised that it would receive an ice cream sandwich update in August 2012. August 2012 came and passed. No ice cream sandwich update for the Thunderbolt. No surprise there. However, Verizon notified users just a few days ago that an over-the-air update would be rolling out to users of the HTC Thunderbolt, and as it turns out, that update brings it up to Android version 4.0.4 with Sense 3.6. I suppose the old cliche better late than never applies here, although it is a bit of a shame that it took this amount of time for it to come out. I'm still kind of up in the air as to whether it's actually HTC that took so long or if it's Verizon that took so long, because of the next part of the story. As a part of the update, Verizon has added a new application to the Thunderbolt. It's called Verizon Remote Diagnostics, and it sounds, to be quite frank, scary as hell. From the article on XDA, there's actually a quote that says it can be used for device training, application demonstrations, and troubleshooting. And all of those things can be done remotely because it said it's remote. So when you call in, you can ask for help and they'll give you help over the phone and remote into your phone. And no. As always, there is a thread on the forum with lots of information about it, and development is expected to be rolling along at this point. So I would not suggest looking at the OTA update. I would suggest waiting for development and waiting for them to just completely rip that out of there and every single shred of anything remote. No. Moving right along, and speaking of development, we've talked in the past about a lot of different resources for learning to develop, learning places to find source code, places to find development toolkits, and all sorts of things like that. Well, Changelog put out an article this week with some great information on where to find even more information. He mentions a website called BBQ Sauce, which essentially allows you to look through the signage and mod source, search for what you're looking for, find it, hopefully, as well as another resource called Android XRef, which allows you to look through not only the AOSP source, but the Linux kernel source as well, so that you can just deep dive into every bit of it, very easily search through all of this massive code to try to find whatever it is you're looking for. So if you're a developer that's been looking for an easier way to search through source code, or if you're just an end user that is curious, this might be a couple of good resources for you. Now, the next story I wanted to talk about is another HTC related story. I'm not going to go too much into the article because a lot of it was op-ed type stuff, opinion editorial. However, what it comes down to is not too long ago, XDA recognized contributor and developer JMZ Taylor had a website called htcruu.com. Well, as it probably ought to be expected, it had the word HTC in the domain name. It had, I think, some HTC branding on the site, so he received a cease and desist to take it down on that basis. But as a part of that, the lawyers from HTC also served up a take down all of your RUUs, you cannot have that out there. This, of course, completely pissed off the entire community. If you haven't heard about it already, like I said, there's a lot of information in this opinion piece. I'll have the link to that in the video description, of course. But in reading more about it, in the long term, things did turn out okay. The website is back up, although it's under a different URL now. All the RUUs are available again. What happened is the lawyers for HTC just jumped on it because it was a trademark infringement and said everything must go. Lawyers are not generally keen on what ROMs and RUUs and anything developer related are. So when they said take it down, they said everything. Get rid of everything. You cannot have anything out there. Later on down the road, somebody from HTC who's not a lawyer came by and said, no, it's okay. You can have the RUUs out there. So they are public again. They're just not under that same HTC branded URL. So to be quite honest, there is a lot of HTC developer relations that are kind of quirky at the moment, but they are working on it. Actually, not in relation to the story, but just completely outside of it. I noticed over on Google+, HTC has somebody on Reddit who's posted something about doing a developer, featuring a developer per month in the open source community. So they're trying. They're not exactly where we want them to be. They're not exactly where they really ought to be, at least GPL speaking. But honestly, I say that they're making some sort of an effort. It's not what everybody wants, but it's better than nothing. From seeing all of Adam Altler's posts, I can tell he is highly upset with HTC. And you know, he has every right to be. When you release something under the GPL, you're supposed to release the source upon request, and it has been requested. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. For the story about the website takedown, you should read the piece. It's down in the video description. For the other stuff, it's over on Google+. I'll see if I can find a link to it and put it in the description. Or you can go to Reddit and just search for HTC. You'll probably find it there. Now moving right along to some XDA news to wrap things up. XDA's been around for quite a few years now, and there's been a lot of change in the site over the years. It's gone from being a plain and simple forum to being a very well-rounded website with loads of content, loads of members, and therefore, as of this week, XDA Changelog is now available. You can see the full history of the site, what it looked like back in the beginning, changes that have happened over the years, and everything like that to make it a little bit more transparent for you guys. And honestly, I just find it to be kind of cool from a historical point of view, to be able to look back and say, wow, that website didn't look particularly impressive when it started, and now it's this huge booming thing. So if you want to see that, you can always view the changelog. I'll have the link to the post down in the video description, which links over to that. And finally, there were 3 other videos posted here on XDA Developer TV this week. The first one was a device review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1, although it was more of a eulogy for the Galaxy Note 10.1. Very entertaining video there. Adam Outler posted his video on Leap Day, the 37th day of 2013, with a contest for you guys to win an XDA phone case. So if you're interested in winning a case or an NFC tag, I think there's a bunch of each of those, so head on over to the video to get more information about that. And finally, TK reviewed another app showing you how to search for apps on your phone T9 style, if you're into that old texting style. So if that's something that interests you, you might want to check out his video. But as always, that's going to be about all from me for today. If you like the content of this video, do make sure to hit that like button down below or wherever YouTube has put it this week. And as always, subscribe to receive our content as soon as it becomes available. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again on Monday.